Now let's talk about the next two picks, Nick Martin and Upton Stout. These are the third-round picks. And, again, in practice, you're mostly judging coverage, some pass rush. Those are things you can see. But run defense is a hard thing to judge when there's, minimal contact. Minimal contact, absolutely no tackling. So Saleh today was asked about Nick Martin, and he had a very interesting answer because I think he was asked about D. Winters early in the offseason. Media hypes up D. Winters every offseason because he's a good athlete and he makes plays in coverage. And we don't really know what we're looking at. So he has 2 picks this offseason. He must be doing great, right? And people ask Saleh, and he's like, yeah, I love D. Winters. He's working so hard. He's improved so much. It's just that, we'll see how it is when when the preseason starts and it's live football and he actually has to decipher run and pass. And it's not these like clear passing situations. Like, oh yeah, you have some reservations about this guy. Yeah, he's an athlete, but is he really a dog? Like, is he really violent? Is he really consistently going to be around the ball? Don't know. He was on the field during a lot of performances last year where the Niners couldn't stop the run at all. Then he was asked about Nick Martin, who he handpicked, Robert Saleh, and he said, yeah, I'll start with Nick. One thing we're not worried about with him is his violence, getting off a block and understanding how to get to the football. He just has to continue mastering the scheme to give himself the opportunity to play fast. That is something he has not said, won't say about D. Winters. Yeah, one thing we're not worried about with him is the violence. And I think that's with Winters. Sometimes you don't even really feel him out there. Greenlaw was the intimidator. Reuben Foster was supposed to be the intimidator. And they're drafting Nick Martin to be super violent, hit super hard. And I think he will. Like, you see him leave his feet to make diving, headfirst, human missile tackles, which probably isn't good, form. Probably, I'm supposed to have your head up, but he does it. So that's cool. I'm really looking forward to watching Nick Martin in preseason. I have a feeling they're being coy about how good he is. They're not playing him with the starters, but I think he's going to end up being the starting Sam linebacker. And one mistake from D. Winters, one bad game from D. Winters, and a couple good games from Nick Martin, and they make the switch. I don't think Nick Martin will be the starting will linebacker week 1, but I think he'll be the starting weak linebacker week 17 for sure. And it's just a matter of when D. Winters gives that job up. So we'll see. But I like that that Saleh's talking about violence, because I don't think this defense was particularly violent last year. I mean, Devondre Campbell, no. D. Winters, not so much. Leonard Floyd, no. Jair Brown, not really. Now you got Nick Martin and Upton Stout. Upton Stout, I have a feeling as soon as preseason starts, everyone's going to love this guy. As soon as we see him make a tackle. I can't tell yet because they don't tackle, but they do this thing where they thud each other. It's like lacrosse where you can just drop a shoulder and, you're allowed to do that. You just don't want the guy to fall down, but you do want to give some contact, thud up, as they say. He thuds up really hard. So does Nick Martin. But Upton Stout, all 5'8" of him, really thuds up hard. And he kind of reminds me of Bob Sanders. I mean, people my age remember Bob Sanders, but he was this safety for the Colts who was smaller, and he threw his body around in an insane way. Anyone watching, like, why is that little man doing this to himself? And he didn't last that long. I have a feeling Upton Stout's going to be like that. He's super strong, and it's what makes him him. Yeah, I think he's going to be good in coverage. I think he has potential in coverage. I think he can also blitz. But I think what's going to be his standout trait, the reason the Niners drafted him, is his tackling. Maybe that sounds silly to draft a nickel based on tackling, but they took him in the 3rd round. If you're really looking for a premium cover guy, you're probably getting that guy, a guy who can really lock up most receivers they face in the slot. That guy's probably a 1st-round pick or someone with that kind of measurables. And this guy is 5'8". He's not going to be able to lock up him against Jackson Smith and Jigbo week 1. That's a concerning matchup through the air. But the thing about the Seahawks is they run the ball a lot, or they're going to with Clint Kubiak as their offensive coordinator. And the Niners are going to have to be able to stop the run out of base, out of nickel. And this guy's going to be their starting nickel. And I think he's going to be a much more ferocious, violent tackler than Diamondo Lenore. or Renardo Green. He's going to hit like a freaking safety. And I can't wait to watch it because watching glorified, touch football every day gets boring. It's interesting, but it gets boring. And then you watch the Hall of Fame game last night and it's like, oh yeah, that's what I miss. I love tackle football. So I feel like stock up with Nick Martin and Upton Stout. These are two guys who were drafted to hit stick people. They won't say it, but they were drafted to light people up, to be violent. Michael Williams and Alfred Collins, I don't know if they were drafted to be violent. They're drafted to be big and like eat space and stop the run in a wide nine front, which is it's inherently hard to stop the run out of the wide nine because everyone's so far apart. So these big guys, kind of like Armstead, who could stop the run in the wide nine. That's what they're looking for from those guys. But they need people on the second and third levels to be violent because, God love Fred Warner, one of the best players in franchise history. But violence is down the list of his best qualities, right? Greenlaw was kind of the yin to his yang in that way. So you lose Greenlaw, you lose the heart of your defense, you lose the toughness, you lose the guy who scares people. Upton Stout and Nick Martin. Now, the idea that people are going to be scared of 5'8" Upton Stout sounds like a stretch, right? Well, we'll see.